Okay, forgive me, y'all. I was trying to add a person to the group. I think that because they have changed their hook, that's what made it hard for me to add them. So I may have to miss them this morning. So anyway, thank you all for being on. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing again? Yeah, I've just made it back. All right. Good. Thank you. Good. Good. Okay. Happy about that. Happy that you all have made it back. Person that I'm glad to have you all here, and the person that I also really wanted to have in here. I think because they changed their tag, I had to let them know that. That's probably why it's challenging for me to find them and add them to this to this space. But we'll get them. We'll get Dr. Juice next time. All right. So today, because we're 10 minutes past, we got 20 minutes, and I'm still going to honor your time and do this in 20 minutes. So today, we're continuing with our series that we're doing at Peace. Let me go ahead and tell you what that series is. The series is, we're going to say college students because it's a college congregation, but take that out. This could be for anybody. It's anybody that follows Jesus. And today's topic is anyone who follows Jesus, they understand that they don't succeed by themselves. And they also need to understand that they're not terminally unique. Okay, they don't succeed by themselves and they're not terminally unique. Now, the scripture that we're going to use today is Matthew 28, 11 through 20. And the key verse is really going to be verses 15 through 20, okay, which is the Great Commission. All right. And so I'm going to read it. It's then the 11 disciples went to Galilee to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. And when they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Now, this is coming from the NIV version. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go back and just kind of recap where we came from, which was now going on for like the last 3 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about people that follow Jesus. They studied to show themselves approved, which means that they inform themselves. And we, I think, kind of deconstructed Valentine's Day on that day. But then we also kind of deconstructed the word sin. How sin doesn't mean bad or bad things. In the Old Testament, sin only meant separation from God and also separation from you. And then in the New Testament, sin also means missing the mark. And so while we try to encompass sin as merely someone's identity or the way that people live or such, such and so forth, is deeper than that. And so it's the kind of things that separate us from each other, not the things that bring us together. And so we're challenging ourselves to actually study the word so that you can understand what these words mean and where these terms come from and how to apply them in your life. Number 2 is demonstrate integrity. We talked about to demonstrate integrity, you have to do 3 things. 1, you have to have congruency. That's you do what you say you're going to do. 2, you have to demonstrate and show commitment, which is merely doing what you can do. Okay, not trying to be perfect and try to do everything right, but do what you can do. And then when you're in a covenant with someone, that means that you are reciprocating what you desire. You're keeping your promises, but you don't hold other people to your standards because I'm not you. You are not me. And so as I was told here recently last week while I was in DC, like I'm self-motivated and some people go, I'm not self-motivated, so I'm like, okay, cool. And so here again today, we're going to talk about how do we talk about the understanding that you don't succeed by yourself and understand that you're not terminally unique. So understanding, first, let's do the first part. You don't succeed by yourself. So we're going to break down that there's a difference between being by yourself and then being alone. There's a difference between being by yourself and then being alone. By yourself literally means you have no friends, you have no resources, no network, no one cares, you have no one to talk to. No one went through what you went through, and there's no solution to what you're going through. Now, here's the thing. While you all are looking at me, I'm going to show you the screen so you can looking at it. Okay, do you see that? No friends, no resources, no network, no one cares, no one to talk to, ever. I had to put that in, ever. If you like Andre 3000 and Outkast, Miss Jackson, ever. Anyway, no one went through what you went through. That's what that is. No one went through it, meaning no one went through what you went through. There's no solution to reference, meaning there's nothing for you to look up. There's no one to talk to. And then also there's no possibility. That's what it means to be by yourself. So in saying that, and in particular people in college, but I think in life, we feel like that sometimes, but that's really not where we are in life. That's just what we feel like. But usually that's not where we are. Now we're going to talk about alone. Okay, now we're going to talk about what it means to be alone. And we're going to use Genesis 2:18. So if you have your Bibles or if you want to pull it up on your phone, you can turn to Genesis 2:18 at the screen. Okay, so here on this screen, you have Genesis 2:18. And while you're looking at that, I'm going to read something. I'm going to read Genesis 2:18. And it said, "Then the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone, and I will make him a helpmeet for him." Now, here's the thing. This is why it's so important for us to study the context of different things instead of just looking at the words itself. So when it's talking about not being alone, I pull out my concordance, I read the Bible, I pull out other resources to try to understand what that word alone means. Now, just check this out. It's not ideal for you to be alone, but you can be alone. Okay? When God said, or when it's captured in the Old Testament in Genesis, okay, and I want you to see I'm reading my Bible too. Okay, so you see I'm not making this up, and I'm reading part of my concordance and descriptions right there, so you know that I'm not making this up. When it says to not be alone, what it means is when God gave Adam a helpmeet, that this individual, this woman, was here to aid or to supply what this individual can't provide to himself. Okay. Now the problem is most folks would try to minimize that to only being someone's spouse or being in a monogamous relationship. But those terms are someone that is your friend. That doesn't have to be someone that you're in a monogamous relationship with. So in the term there for help is boethos, which is physician, okay, which means you're aiding someone in need. And an example is such as the oppressed. And this person is the opposite, but they're also an equal and they're also adequate. So talk about not being alone. It doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with someone. What it means is that you have to be in relationship with people. Be in relationship. And so to be in relationship, this other person is your opposite, but see that it says that they're also equal and they're also adequate, which means that they help provide what you need. Now, let's look at something. I want us to look at the Adam and Eve, back up again, the Adam and Eve story. And it's really captured in Genesis 2:1-20. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but Genesis, when it captures what happened to Adam, it says Adam was formed, and Adam did the job God had for him alone. Now, I want you to see that. Adam had a job to do, and Adam had to do the job alone. Then in Genesis 2:21-25, Eve was formed, and now Adam and Eve have a job to do together. But I want you to understand something. While they still have a job to do together, they still have individual jobs to do. And if that doesn't make sense, if you don't believe that, if you start at the beginning of Genesis 3, if the serpent was talking to Eve when she was by herself, obviously that meant that she had something that she was to do alone. So that meant that even though Adam and Eve were, clove to one another or cleaved, they cleaved to each other, they had a job to do together, and they still have a job to do alone. Okay? And so recognizing that they have a job to do alone, these are the take-home. Even in life, even if you're with someone or not, that you will always have to figure certain things out alone. Just want to take a couple seconds and let that sit in for a minute. You will always have to figure certain things out alone. This is why it gets me when people try to say that everybody's supposed to be married or everybody's supposed to be booed up and something. I'm like, no, I don't know. The Bible doesn't say that. And I don't believe that. The other thing is you'll always have to figure out certain things with someone else's help. See? So there will always be times in your life where you have to do things alone. And there will also be times in your life when you have to do things with someone else. And the other thing to keep in mind is that you will get help from places that seem less likely sometimes. Okay? You will get help from places that seem less. Now, the reason that this is such an important point to make is because many of us out here in the world want to do a lot of things by ourselves. We want to feel like we've accomplished something. We want to feel like this is ours. We want to feel like we've owned it. Then there are also some people who feel like they have no choice but to do it by themselves. And that could be because maybe they're awkward. Maybe it's challenging for them to be around people or be around groups of people. Maybe they're the kind of folks who probably thrive on their own. Some may call them introverts. I mean, I believe that I'm introverted, but I feel actually I'm more of an extrovert, really, because I really do enjoy being around people. And I can get re-energized being around people. Okay. And so, but there are times when I want to be alone and I can get re-energized in solitude. So what I'm saying is that I don't think anyone is completely one or the other. I believe that as humans, we have times when we want to be alone, times when we want to be by ourselves. I think that we also have times when we want to be with other people and we end up being by ourselves. And there are times when we want to be by ourselves, but we're with other people. So just like life creates circumstances where we have to figure things out in the midst of what's going on, like I said, figure some things out alone. You also have to figure some things out with the help of someone else. Now, this is to try to drive home. You are not terminally unique. Nobody is terminally unique. Now, everyone is unique because there's only one you. Like there's only one Talitha, there's only one Sanders. Oh, and by the way, Talitha, we have Miss Sanders here in the room with us, and it's her birthday today, so we say happy birthday to you. But you're not terminally unique. What you are going through, have gone through, or are about to go through, others have been through it too. Okay, others have been through it too. And others have succeeded. Obviously, people have failed, but we're going to focus on optimism. Others have succeeded, defeated obstacles, and overcome hardships. Many of us who go through things, and a lot of times we'll feel like we're by ourselves, or I'm the only one going through it. But first, that's a lie. You're not the only one going through it. As a matter of fact, this past week, I was in D.C. I was just telling my special someone yesterday about something that happened to me in D.C. How about I got to D.C., I was there for a speaking engagement, made the reservation, thought that the reservation was covered, get there, the reservation has not been covered. And so now and we're in D.C. now, so we're in the high rent district, so it's going to be a pretty nice chunk. And it's not that I didn't have the funds, it's just that I don't like to be flexible sometimes. So when I go somewhere, if I make plans, I like for things to go as I planned them. And if you know me well, you know that that's the way I am. But you don't control anything but how you respond to how you react. And so I get there, and when this happens, I'm basically stranded. Like, seriously, I am stranded. Like, I have, in D.C., like, technically, it's like, the initial reaction is I don't have any friends, I don't have any family in D.C. Oh, my goodness, nobody's going to want to help me. What is going on? So I want to tell you, like, usually when people feel stranded or they feel alone or they feel like they don't have any other resolve to figure out their situation, go through these feelings right here. There's embarrassment. Then there's self-pity. Like the embarrassment, I cannot believe that I did this or this is happening to me. The self-pity, why is this happening to me? And then there's a breakdown. I put that in red on purpose. And then there's a breakdown. For some people, that breakdown is you shut down. For some people, they cry. For some people, they get an attitude and they act out. For some people, they totally withdraw. For some people, they make their situation too loud, make it known too much. And then at that point, that's usually when sometimes we get stuck and we don't move. Now, After you break down, you can start to do something else. You can get up. You can start to figure it out. Okay, so that means when you get up, it means you start to own the situation, what's going on. Then you figure it out. Okay, this sucks, or this isn't good. And then you start thinking, okay, what is it that I need? Well, if you know that you need help, the first thing you have to do is get over your pride, because you have to ask for help. Okay? Here, this is why Genesis 2:18 is so critical when it says it's not meant for you to be alone. You are meant to carry your loads alone. Like, everyone has a load to carry. But we're all meant to help one another carry each other's burdens. Then you have to prioritize what's the most important thing that has to get done. Like, what needs to happen? So in my case, what needed to happen was I needed to find a place to stay. I didn't need to find new clothes to wear. I didn't need to come up with a new excuse. I didn't need to, I didn't need to do anything but find a place to lay my head. Prioritize, keep it simple, break it down. And then I was able to come up with a solution, connecting with family that I had in Maryland, not too far from there. And then I ended up staying there. So it was very good. And it worked out really well. Now, I want to also highlight somebody that I completely look up to as I'm about to bring this to a close. And we're going to talk about this, especially in honor of Black. We're going to talk about my shero today in church. We're going to talk about polymeric. And I wanted to show all of these pictures of her because, she worked for a newspaper. She was a lawyer. You see, she's a graduate. She was a priest. And then as far as I'm concerned, she was just hot anyway. I mean, look at that pose. What? And she fought for women's rights, LGBTQ rights, rights of African Americans, human rights. And she did all of this during a time when, as a woman who was working out her journey through her own gender, she did this at a time when laws did not support our brothers and sisters who were going through that. She did it in a time when being a woman, being Black, or really, her having multiple ethnicities meant that she couldn't go to certain schools, but you see, she did anyway. Meant it would have been hard for her to get certain jobs, but she was able to do that too. To be ordained priest in the Episcopal Church, but she did that too. That was not something that women were able to do, not because of their skill or ability, but because of the closed-mindedness of the church. But she did that. She pushed through. Now she can do that. Went out on her side. Schools went out on her side, nor the church. We're in 2017. Now, in her situation, I would say that's daggone near close to being alone. Okay? Or yes, being alone. And she succeeded. Didn't say it was easy. Didn't even say it was safe. But she succeeded. And the thing is that a lot of times we in this day, but especially college students, when they go through things, they think, oh, woe is me, and I can't do it. And I'm sitting here looking at them like, yes, you can. Other people have done it. You're not doing anything new. It's just new to you. But it's not new to the world. And so this is why we're going to close the Matthew 28:19 through 20, which is the Great Commission that we were given. But in that commission, in order to do that commission, which is to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you, and surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age. The only way for you to be able to do something like that is study to show yourself approved, so you know what you're doing. And you also have to demonstrate integrity. Integrity, and you know what you're doing, you understand that you're a vehicle for God's kingdom. But remember, vehicles need maintenance. So you have to go back to the Creator. An outward declaration is what we demonstrate of an internal transformation. That's all baptizing is. So you can't even lead people to God truthfully if you haven't had your own internal transformation. And it said God is with us in every age, even unto the end of the church age. And that's actually what Jesus meant when Jesus said unto the end of the age. A lot of times that he meant to the end of the earth, but no, Jesus actually meant to the end of the age, of the church age. And so Jesus is calling us to be disciples. And I did a sermon last year which talked about how disciples became the apostles. And I want to close with this last slide, which shows you what we go through and then how we go through it with other people. And I apologize because I held my phone in my hand, so there's definitely a lot of movement. Hopefully no one gets motion sickness. But I hope you understand why I did this, and I really wanted you to see the slideshow. So in order for us to do this, one, when we experience something, these are stages. You experience something with another person. Then the next thing is you experience something on your own, but with another person around. Then third, you experience something on your own and you don't like it because no one else is around. These are the stages that we go through. It's just like going from a child to a teenager to an adult. And then once you start adulting, as they say now, you start learning how to be an adult in this new reality. So now that you're an adult, when you get to this third phase, then this is what happens. You experience something and you figure out how to get through it. And that's when you start developing your own understanding. Someone else experiences something and then you're there to help them. See, now that you've gone through it and you've conquered it, or as we say in the church, I've been delivered from it, then someone else is going to go through it and then I'm there to help them. And then someone else has to learn how to stand on their own, just like you had to learn to stand on your own. I thank you for tuning in with me this morning. And just to close this out is for us to understand that we must all go through something on our own, but you don't succeed on your own. We succeed with the help of other people. We succeed with other influences, other networks, other resources. And then at the same time, while we don't succeed on our own, there are some things that we will have to learn and live on our own for us to see what we're made of and to see who we are and what we're, and to see how God has positioned us and what God has called us to be and to do. And therefore, you must understand that you're not terminally unique. Things may be unique to you and new to you, but it's not new to the world. So like when people go, I have no more money. You know how many people have no money? Feel like they have no money but still have a place to live. Or I feel like I'm about to be out on the street or something like that. Well, there are a lot of people who have ended up that way and who have survived and been able to get back on their feet. Or my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my significant other just left me and okay, now I'm all by myself, please. I think everybody over the age of 25 knows what that feels like, one form or another. That's not to minimize their feelings and to minimize their struggles. It's just to say, look, you're not the only one going through it. Okay? And so take this home with you. A picture of this slide if you don't mind. What I'm going through, others have gone through it and made it, so can I. God is always with me, especially when I am alone. I can learn from every experience, and some of my experience I will share to help others. Nothing is so bad I have to give up, and nothing is so big that there is no solution. And I'm talking about us individually. And through hardships, when I'm able to stand on my own without losing myself, I understand things will work out. So please take that. If you want me to email it to you, please, at thomasreasley@easleybranch.com. I will send it to you if you want to hold on to it. I have no problem sharing this. And there you have it. If you have any other questions, you can email me. And I kind of like this format. It may seem kind of quiet because we don't have all of the ignorance coming in and out, but hey, we can talk. So before I close out, let me ask you this. Do you have any questions? I'm sorry, I shouldn't just run off like that. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments, any challenges? I'm sorry. Look at that. I'm so used to just going off. And I am a morning person. Used to be my favorite character, though. No questions? Okay, then. Well, thanks for the... Okay, well, hey, God bless you. You are very welcome. And we will see you again. Well, actually, we're not going to have church next Sunday. I just looked at my wrist, skin 30. We're not going to have church next Sunday because the students are going to be, they're going to be on spring break. But here again, I'm going to ask you, I'm still going to ask you. I just gave you my email. You follow me in a couple of places. If you want me to get online next week and do something, or if there's a certain topic in particular that you're interested in discussing, especially since we're not having church, so I don't have to prepare for them, maybe I can prepare for you. Email me, let me know what's going on, and we can meet up again, okay? But God bless you. I hope you have a great Sunday. Have a great week. And just know that God is with you always. And I look forward to talking back with you soon. Peace.